like the storms are gathering.
He said, putting on his sunglasses. The mainland is still a few miles off. We might make it by sunset.
He said, lighting some incense and hanging some wind chimes. This is no time for your superstitions, Jim. We've got to rely on nautical sense.
He said, pulling out his compass and compassing away. Where has your nautical sense got us in the past? It's my crystals that have saved us previously.
He said, pulling out an amethyst, some water crackers, and a homemade pesto that he'd been slaving over. How can I draw perfect circles with my compass while you're luring me with your delicious-smelling pesto, Jim?
He said, hearing something in the distance that sounded beautiful.
She said, letting her long blonde hair sway and her tail crash the water.
I can't see anything through my telescope.
He said, taking the lens cap off his telescope.
Wow!
What do you see out there, Jim?
He said, crashing the boat onto the rocks. See? I told you it was crystals that was going to guide us to the mainland.
He said, doing a quick bit of Tai Chi and rehearsing his mantra that keeps him calm.
I am calm. I am the forest and the leaves and the trees.
It was the smell of pesto in my nose that distracted me, and now we're strewn across the rocks with a mermaid.
He said, climbing out through the broken ferry window and through over the rocks to where the sound was coming from. Don't go! You've been through this before! You can't let this happen again!
He said loudly, because I was a long way away by then. It is you! I saw you 15 years ago, but I thought it was a dream.
He said, rubbing his eyes and realizing it wasn't.
She said, putting her hand on his face.
Don't touch me, I've grown weather-worn and wrinkly. The sea in my face and the wind in my hair and the boat on my feet and my watch on my wrist.
He said, walking over and looking deeply to her eyes.
I've always liked the weathered look. The look of the hills, the cracks in the cliffs, the weathered, wrinkly rocks that I sit on.
She said, kissing the wrinkles around his eyes.
No, David! Out of the way!
He said, firing a crossbow into her belly and emitting a battle cry of an ancient barbarian race. Jim! Good God, man, what's got into you?
He said, grabbing Jim and shaking him violently. It's been you and me all along. All this time at the sea, the incense, the pesto, the crackers, the crystal. I did it for you.
He said, gently applying pressure to pressure points on my forehead and neck to make me more submissive and pliable.
Don't you feel it too?
He said, putting some chapstick on. You're right, Jim. These dreams of mermaids have always been a distraction. The roll of the sea and the crash of the waves. have always rung in my ears as you've been standing right beside me. A rock in every storm, a port in every harbour. It was your pesto that distracted me, but your pesto that sustained me.
He said, putting on some chapstick.